Sierra Business Council published the 22-county Sierra Nevada Climate Change Vulnerability Assessment in September of 2022. This report was funded by the Sierra Nevada Conservancy. This report was created because of SB 379 and the number of rural jurisdictions that still need to comply with the state mandate. The mandate requires that counties incorporate climate resilience into their general plans, including a vulnerability assessment. This report can be counted as the vulnerability assessment for the 22 counties in the report. This project was funded by Sierra Nevada Conservancy and therefore used the SNC boundary lines. These boundaries dictated the level of data resolution for the report and allowed us to compile sub-regional data sets as well as county averages. The main goals for this project were to build capacity in the Sierra and provide a risk assessment for the region. This report was able to focus on Sierra-specific demographics and climate hazards. This presentation will share some of our key findings from the report. This is the heat day data set. Heat days are expected to increase throughout the region. The map shows that the lower elevations, where you see the orange and the red color, will experience more extreme heat days during the mid-century. Some of these areas could experience up to 56 more heat days a year than historically experienced. These maps show the snow cover and the amount of precipitation predicted to fall as snow. The map on the left illustrates economic impact from snow drought and shows that lower elevation ski resorts may experience less snow by the mid-century. This could impact opening and operating day numbers for ski resorts. The map on the right shows the amount of precipitation that will fall as snow versus rain. In general, lower elevations will experience more rain where traditionally there was snowfall. This map shows summer soil moisture and how it will decrease during the mid-century. The yellow indicates little change in summer soil moisture, but where you see the brown and the gold in the higher elevation areas represents more drying by mid-century. On average, the SNC region can expect a 48% increase in acreage burned from historical. Some counties are already experiencing this increase in acreage burned from fires experienced in the last few years. Along with an increase in fires, Sierra jurisdictions can expect more secondary impacts as well, like debris flows and flooding and burn scars. So how will climate change impact life in the Sierra? The 4 economic drivers in the Sierra are tourism, recreation, natural resource, and agriculture. All of these are going to be impacted from just slight changes in climate. This will be due to reduced visitation numbers, changes in land use, and less availability of natural resources. At the household level, there will be impacts as well. Most workers in the Sierra earn less than $50,000 annually. As can be seen in the graph on the left, the 4 economic drivers in the Sierra pay the lowest wages. The cost of living in the Sierra is above $70,000 for a small family, but only 2 counties in the region have a median household income above the cost of living. A high cost of living can lead to less adaptive capacity. So who's going to be impacted? The top 4 most common vulnerable populations in the Sierra are people without access to high-speed internet, the housing burdened, people of color, and people 65 and older. This map shows how many people are accessing broadband. And while it's low in most counties, some, like Alpine and Sierra, have less than 10% of the population using high-speed internet. This can lead to delays in evacuation and longer emergency response times. We all know housing is a key issue in the Sierra. A third of owner-occupied and half of renter-occupied homes are considered unaffordable. People with less disposable income may have less capacity to adapt to climate change. A quarter of the population identifies as a race or ethnicity other than white alone. This lack of diversity can lead to segregated communities where populations of color have fewer lines of communication, leading to less emergency preparedness and fewer resources to endure climate change. About a quarter of the region's population is 65 years or older. Seniors are vulnerable to climate change due to their reliance on medical care and their increased need for assistance during evacuations and power outages. This group may also have less financial ability to maintain defensible space, install air conditioning, and evacuate in a timely manner. We partnered with Sierra Institute to conduct capacity workshops throughout the region. Community members self-assess the local capacity in their communities based on the 5 capitals: financial, human, social, cultural, and physical. On average, community members rated their local area as having medium capacity, represented by the yellow color on the map. The red color represents low capacity, and green represents high capacity. In general, there are pockets of extreme wealth and poverty in the area, and this can lead to varying degrees of capacity, even within small communities or census blocks. So what do we do now with all this data? Well, like all research projects, we ended up with more questions than we started. At the regional level, we found data gaps in some climate indicators like air quality, and there is a lack of socioeconomic data at the community level. These data gaps should be prioritized for future research and be considered key next steps by state and regional leaders. At the local level, key next steps are making sure jurisdictions have updated safety elements and hazard mitigation plans to reflect climate projections and socioeconomic data. This will help jurisdictions come into compliance with SB 379. You can read the full report at SBC's website or by scanning this QR code.